welcome back to my channel. And today we are going to be talking about a very important topic in history. But before we begin, let me talk about our presenters. The people who worked on this presentation, who are Viviana, then Victoria, aka Tori, and then we have Desiree, and then me, who is giving the audio, who's letting her borrow her voice. Okay guys, so today we're going to be talking about the African National Congress, or the ANC. Okay guys, so here we have early history and origins. We want to know some basic information before we actually start our presentation. So we're going to start in the late 1920s. The ANC's leadership split over the issue of cooperation with the Communist Party, leaving the party small and disorganized through the 1930s. So the ANC believed that the Communist Party should be joining so they could be stronger together. And then also the Communist Party was kind of getting money from other communist nations as support. So that was a big help for them. And then the ANC's league, founded in 1944, attracted such figures as Walter Oliver and Mandela, who started the movement and challenged the white leadership. Okay guys, so I am not going to be pronouncing the last names because I do not want to butcher them, mess them up, and sound kind of horrible. So under the presidency of Albert, the ANC after 1952 began sponsoring non-violent protest strikes, boycotts, and marches against the apartheid policies that have been introduced by the National Party government that came into power in 1944. So here we have the three main, it's actually a total of main four. So we have Mandela, Oliver and Walter, and Albert. These are kind of the main founders of ANC, as we will continue to learn in our next slide. The boycotts and the non-violent protests kind of began as a movement for, they were following the steps and the ideology of Gandhi. Okay, so we're going to talk about the following leaders after the ANC broke up. So we have Nelson Mandela, we have Albert, and we have Oliver and Walter. So first we're going to talk about former president of South Africa, Nelson Mandela. He was a South African anti-apartheid revolutionary, political leader, and was also president of South Africa from 1994 to 1999. In the following pictures, we can see that he boxed a little. He got married. He was actually married 3 times. And okay guys, so we're going to talk a little brief history about Albert. He was a South African teacher, an activist, and a Nobel Peace Prize winner, and a politician. Okay guys, so another brief history about another leader was Oliver. He was a South African anti-apartheid politician and a revolutionary who served as president of the African National Congress from 1967 to 1991. Okay guys, and then for our last leader that we're going to talk about, we have Walter. He was also a South African anti-apartheid activist and a member of the African National Congress, serving at times as a Secretary General and Deputy. He was the president of the organization. Okay guys, so let's get back on track. Our reaction to apartheid after 1948. So the party announced a series of one-day general strikes in response to a quick succession of new apartheid laws in 1950, organized with the South African Communist Party SACP in response to the suppression of Communist Act was particularly successful. About half of the black workers of Johannesburg refused to go to work. However, the strike also offered an early indication of an sort of response that the ANC would come to expect from the apartheid government. Apartheid police were used to fire on protesters, and 18 people were killed. By 1952, however, it had become obvious that the ANC leadership was that irregular strike action was no longer generating the desired politician traction. So, Moroka inexplicably pleaded not guilty to the charges brought against him. His actions compromised the integrity of the campaign, the purpose of which was to offer guilty pleas and fill apartheid prisons with protesters. Moroka's position was unattainable and he was forced to resign. He was replaced as President General by Chief Albert. Another notable development during this period was the initial of the ANC's Resist Apartheid campaign. At the heart that was the straight opposition of the ANC to the forced eviction from Sophiatown, and were planned as before to the government's Western Areas removal scheme. The treason trial of 1956 to 1961 had the split in the Congress, which resulted in the Africanist breakaway and formation of the Pan-Africanist Congress, PAC, in January 1959. By the early 1960s, with the harshly representative measures of the government and the high notable profile it aimed following the creation of MK and the publicity of Rian trial, it came close to achieving this aim. It is enormously ironic that the resistance movement reached the height of its popularity at precisely the time that it was being brought to its knees by the might and the apartheid state, first by its prohibition and then by the arrest of the imprisonment of its leaders. Okay, and then continuing, the flag of the ANC African National Congress is a tricolor that equal bands of black, green, and gold. The black band is on top. The flag was adopted in 1952. According to the ANC, the black symbolizes the people of South Africa for generations who have fought for freedom. The green represents the land which sustained our people for centuries and from which they removed colonial and apartheid governments. The gold represents the mineral and other natural wealth of South Africa, which belongs to all of its people, but which has been used to benefit only a small racial minority. Okay, guys, and to wrap this up, we have assessments of success. As a result of the establishment of apartheid, its inversions decided by black people, and brutal crackdown of political activists, and ANC, together with the SACP, formed a military wing, otherwise known as the Spear of the Nation, MK, in 1961. The ANC waged the armed struggle and obtained support from the African countries and the Soviet bloc for its activities. With the increased international pressure and the collapse of the Soviet Union, the apartheid government was forced to enter into negotiations with the ANC. This saw the collapse of apartheid and ushered in a democratic rule in 1994. Okay, guys, so that is our presentation. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. We all thank you for watching this and hearing this video.